and welcome back to Imagination. I am Nicholas Pettis.
And I'm Jackie Horan. So,
yes.
Do you want to talk about your stuff?
The chair?
The chair. Well, we usually stand up and like present our show, right?
Unfortunately, I teach fitness. I literally tried out a new machine and it kind of broke when I tried it out.
By accident?
Yeah, freak accident actually. Yeah.
Okay.
We've got this one here from Wali Munir in Yemen. Hello.
Hey.
In Arabic language, marhaban.
Marhaban.
I think
Marhaban.
that's how you say it anyway. Your show is the best show on NHK World TV. Thank you.
Yes.
And I love anime manga since 3 years. I want to be a mangaka in the future. Do you think I can do that?
Of course.
Right.
Why not?
Anything is possible. Don't give up on your dreams, that's for sure. And I wish to hear NHK TV in Arabic language because I love my language so much. All right, this is it.
Okay.
We've been practicing. Are you ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Ana
Ohebu al-Yapan.
al-Yapan.
It's supposed to mean I love Japan. Thank you for your beautiful message.
Thanks.
And if anyone else is watching out there, you guys are always welcome to send in more stuff. Please check our website.
Well, since you're injured,
Yes.
I'm gonna pick a topic, feature today, which will cheer you up for sure.
That's got to be games.
We'll find out.
This time, we're focusing on the efforts of creators to make a new work from a popular game series that celebrated its 30th anniversary in 2017. It's the latest in the highly acclaimed action game series, Mega Man. To commemorate its 30th anniversary, a variety of creators came together. Koji Oda, the director of this game, is famous for having worked on famous action series. Furthermore, with the game design overseen by Ryota Fuji, also famous for numerous game series, the game had an experience-rich development team. We spoke with the producer.
I just thought that it was useless to reproduce the old game. When young people saw it, I wanted to make it feel as if nothing had changed. I wanted to incorporate modern game expressions, but it was a very difficult challenge to say that both old and new are compatible.
Coming up, we'll be focusing on how they struck a balance between old and new elements by exploring the behind-the-scenes story of its making.
So,
Yes.
it's 30th anniversary for Mega Man series, right?
Yes.
All the Mega Man fans were waiting for this moment.
Yeah. Now it's
is.
going to look so much better, right?
It is gonna look amazing. So, okay, let's go over the main characters. The blue guy in the middle is Mega Man.
Obviously.
In Japan, we call him Rockman.
Rockman.
And Mega Man was created by Dr. Light, this guy.
All right.
And Mega Man was originally created as a lab assistant,
Okay.
but it was modified for battle in order to stop Dr. Wily's scheme to take over the world. Dr. Wily wanted to be more acknowledged for his work as a roboticist.
Yes, I can understand that. I can actually
Really?
completely relate to that.
Really?
Yeah. It's like if you feel you have some kind of greatness inside yourself and you're in someone's shadow, it's like I want my own sunshine. I want my own spotlight, you know? And that can actually cause a lot of rivalry.
That's where all the story starts.
Nice.
It always starts like that. Dr. Wily tries to take over the world, and Mega Man tries to
Save the
prevent
world.
that. Yeah. That's basically it. And this is the 11th challenge of Dr. Wily to take
Wow.
over the world.
That's a lot of rivalry going on there.
I know. And do you want to know more about the awesomeness of this Mega Man?
I would rather like to play it, but I think we have to watch a VTR before we get
Yes.
to play.
If you watch this, you can feel the joy even more when you play the game.
Great.
So let's
Bring
find
it
out.
on.
Let's find out.
The first Mega Man was born back in 1987. Back then was the golden age of side-scrolling action games. While some focused on ease of play and others on speed, many games, including Sonic and Mario, were created. Meanwhile, Mega Man stood out from the rest for its difficulty. While the game control may be simple, its stages are very difficult. However, no matter how difficult the stage is, as long as the player is persistent and can handle the tricks, it could be completed. In addition, the ability for the player to choose the next stage rather than having to go through them in order was a groundbreaking system for an action game at the time. Mega Man also became popular as a character and has since been developed into various forms of media such as anime and manga. With the new anime series that came out in the US this year, the Mega Man character continues to be loved by fans all over the world. This work was produced for the first time in 8 years to mark its 30th anniversary.
I don't want it to just be the 11th Mega Man. I would like to create new standards that will be able to withstand development over the next decade starting from this 11th work. There was a strong feeling that I wanted to rebuild once again with the current standards and to make it a base game that can be developed all the time in the future.
After conducting domestic and overseas market research, results showed a preference for the early series of Mega Man. However, the director made this latest game by combining both new and old elements from the series. Furthermore, the latest Mega Man will be the first ever title of the series to have a multi-language system.
As for its localization, we aim to cover all major languages from the beginning. We have a total of 8 languages, which include Japanese, English, German, French, Italian, Spanish, and simplified Chinese.
It's possible to switch between the 8 languages by simply changing the game setting. For example, it's even possible to enjoy the conversation in Japanese but have the subtitles in other languages. Furthermore,
besides languages, we also thought about visual designs that might be inappropriate for cultural reasons. We conducted research to find out the tastes of people from cultures outside of Japan, such as in the West, and incorporated our findings into the game.
the characters and stages of this title were designed to be globally accepted. This is also evident in the movement of Mega Man. We spoke with Fuji, who is in charge of the design.
Although the characters and backgrounds are made in 3D, reproducing the feel of the old NES game was fun. But creating the backgrounds and characters in 3D was a real challenge. So, we made the game's elements in 3D, but designed it as a 2D game. The most obvious example is the moment the character climbs off a ladder. In the old NES game, the character's pose changes abruptly upon getting off the ladder.
In 2D, the movement was expressed by combining each picture one by one. But now with 3D, it's possible to make the character motion smoother. However,
when trying to do it in 3D, the motion of turning around also gets rendered. That's why in the rendering, we skipped a transition between the character rising to this pose.
in retaining the smoothness in 3D, certain movements had to be omitted so that it wouldn't cause a slowdown, thereby resulting in the smoothness of 2D movement. In this way, the game faithfully reproduces the gaming experience unique to the old Mega Man. Furthermore, in-game stages have also been modernized.
Initially, our team was working on the game with the aim of creating a 2D action game with retro graphics. It would be easy to navigate the stages like with the drop you see here. The drawback is that it would become 2D, thus lacking depth. If we wanted to make the game visually impressive, this would become a major sticking point.
Then he adds depth to the stage to make it look stereoscopic. This is a screenshot of Mega Man 11 early in its development stage. With almost no angles, it's almost like a flat 2D surface. But when you add angles to this, depth is added to the ground and the wall, giving it a three-dimensional look. But with too much depth,
as you move here, the look changes. When aiming to achieve both a good gaming experience and 3D visuals, we had to try out many different angles.
fine-tuning the angles for depth was very difficult, as it easily led to the position of the character becoming difficult to grasp if not done right.
In the end, we settled for a viewing angle of 10 degrees. This gives it a slight sense of depth and a 3D look.
In this way, this title preserves the traditional feel of the series while incorporating modern improvements. In addition, its newly introduced game system has been designed according to the director's taste. We spoke with director Oda, who regards himself as a huge Mega Man fan.
There's a new system called the Double Gear system. In traditional Mega Man, there is a part that you really can't go ahead if you can't go over here. I thought that it might be possible to return to a series that can be played again for a long time by having a new option to possibly overcome the difficulties by doing this.
The double gear system he added are the most notable features of the new game. Oda offers 3 types of gears. Speed gear raises mobility, with the movement of the surroundings looking slower. Power gear enhances weapons such as lockbusters and charge shots. Double gear can only be used when Mega Man is low in strength and in a critical situation.
You can see that lots of blocks are falling right now. Normally you can jump over them like this and go beyond the cliff. But sometimes it's hard to measure the timing of your jump. That's where one can use speed gear, which, as you can see, slows down the speed of the blocks. There's another one that enables auto-fire for Mega Man's basic weapon. It's a powerful armament called the Charge Shot. It increases the number of attacks. One thing that you have to remember is that since the timing of using these special powers is basically entirely up to the player, they can enjoy, mind you, the players can enjoy the strategic nature of deciding exactly when to use them.
By having 4 different modes, Oda thought outside the box.
Through a long time, Mega Man thought that such a game is a solid way of thinking. So I think that it has become like a taboo to break itself. Certainly, it might be a taboo. However, it is possible to expand the range that can be played without changing the fun of the game itself by daringly cutting it. I built this system thinking that it would be possible for more people to play as a result.
As for the sound effects, they were remade from scratch while preserving the retro feel of the 2D Mega Man era. We spoke with Yoshi, the sound director in charge of the game.
Since Mega Man is an old-time action game hero, I didn't think it would be a good idea to erase all the nostalgic feelings. Even when using retro sound effects, I made sure to mix in modern sound effects to balance it out.
With 30 years of history, the latest game preserves the nostalgic sound effects of Mega Man while giving it a contemporary feel.
For example, in terms of the retro feel, if a heavy and scary robot gives off a clunky metallic sound like this, it'll make it feel more comical. As you progress through the stages, all sorts of gimmicks appear. So I use these kinds of sounds in many of those situations. If you listen very carefully, I'm sure you'll be able to hear it. Since there are also characters being 3D, I'm focusing on a balance that sometimes consciously mixes realistic sounds and gives them a sense of three-dimensional, but not too real. These are my images when I'm making a new Mega Man sound.
By mixing the sounds of various things in his vicinity, he manages to bring about iconic Mega Man-style sound effects.
With lively sounds, even sounds with amazing volume can be heard. Even if you turn down the volume when you have lively sounds, you can still hear it. For example, while many enemies are attacking, it is usually difficult to hear small sounds. But if they are live sounds, they can be heard properly. In this part, I'd like to make sure that I'm going to make sounds on purpose, so I will create a raw sound and I get a solid feeling. After all, there was something that I wanted to hear. So in the end, I put raw sounds in the form of being able to hear them well.
There was even an item like this.
Is this something for plowing fields? Indeed, I think it's used to plow soil. It's an awesome sound. At first, it sounded a bit scary. Such metal produces scary sounds that go cling cling. In the game, there's this gimmick that's like a giant spinning rock crusher that moves about. I thought mixing this sound into it would help bring out the scariness factor.
This is that stage. One can really hear the scary metallic sounds as the crusher approaches. In this way, many things have changed.
Through this latest title, I hope I can bring more fans into the world of Mega Man. In the future, I'd also like to make a game that can help connect different generations, from parents to children, thereby expanding the community of Mega Man fans.
Nice, right? Like, that's amazing because you can tell how, you know, the technology now has taken us to a place where gaming really should be. The 3D graphics are so smooth, so cool, but staying true to the original version.
It's amazing.